Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. It has been a busy couple of months since my mural job in November. The month of December was just a lot of fun, family, Christmas time, and then now that the new year is here and it's been January, I've been looking for new inspiration and thinking about what I want to create next and what my goals are for the new year. And I started out wanting to go like super hardcore and do these very detailed paintings of animals up close, but then I did a few and I was like, okay, yeah, this is nice, I really like how it looks. And then part of me was like, I really think a goal for me this year is trying to find my own unique voice, which I feel like I've been looking for a long time. I spent all last year trying out abstracts and experimenting, and then going back to animals and figuring out different ways of creating and looking at different inspiration like Cecily Brown and Jenny Saville. So this year I made a couple goals for myself, wrote down some things that I really want to do, and that is use my own reference photos. I think that's going to help really create my own style, my own voice, and have it be very uniquely my own because it's places I've been, places I'm drawn to. So I think putting that in paint is really going to tell a lot about who I am as a person. And I'm very drawn to abstracts with open space, which I'll talk a little bit more in further down in the video. And I really want to practice editing, which is something a lot of abstract artists do, where they like draw something in and then they take it out because it's not necessary information on the canvas. So this body of work that I've been working on the month of January, what I did basically was I took animals that I really am drawn to and that I've seen a lot in the past year, so a lot of Midwestern charismatic megafauna, which is a really fun term that a professor told to me when I was in my last year. So he's like, you paint a lot of charismatic megafauna, and so now I'm gonna call it that from now on. There's no other way. There's like elk, there's bears, there's pronghorn antelope, not pronghorn, bighorn sheep, that's what I was looking for. There's marmots, a lot of things that I've seen on my hike when we went kind of through the Tetons last summer and through Colorado. And what I did was I just did the outline and I left the background very loose and then let the color come through, and then I had a lot of fun creating my own abstract landscapes out of them. They're still very, like, it's realistic, you can see a landscape, but I let the paint kind of be more expressive, and I really want to push that this year of letting the space be more flat. This is just another way of me attempting to do so, and I think I personally really love this series, how it turned out. Really like the stable compositions I did in most of them, which I will show you at the end of the video, so stay tuned to see the whole series together. And if you want to follow me, my Instagram is Zoe Paints, and I'm gonna go ahead and also drop all the paintings on my website pretty shortly after this video, so you can go ahead and if you like one of the pieces, collect it, put it in your home, let it stay with you, and continue to bring memories and color to your home. Let's get going. So I started this piece by putting down a pink background where I wanted the horse's head to be and letting just the washes be a little bit more expressive, and then I went ahead and went kind of front to back and built in different pieces like the mountains in the background and then the foliage in front. And I'm working in this way, which is kind of opposite to what you normally do with landscapes, which is back to front, but I'm working in this way because I really want the composition to be flat, and I really want it to be more about the brush strokes and the color than the actual landscape and space. I had a lot of fun with the color yellow in this piece and the different shades in that kind of aspeny looking plant in the front. I really loved kind of starting with the lightest color and then going into the darkest color, and like I said, building that background around the subject. This piece is inspired by a picture I took last summer of my mom's new horse. His name is Jules, and he's an Arabian. And he's this really beautiful brown color, and I love June Lake in California. And I've had this picture in my camera roll for the longest time, and I've wanted to paint it. So I went ahead and did June Lake in fall with the yellow aspeny leaves and then the pink horse, which I think gives it a sense of wonder and
I think, sweetness, if that makes sense, because, it's pink, like cotton candy. I ended up calling this piece Lake of the Pines as well. I've really been loving painting this loose style and having it not be so much about actually capturing the likeness of a photo, but capturing kind of how I see it, and also capturing my unique brushstrokes and marks that I bring to the canvas. I really want to push myself and be more abstract this year, but still keeping with my own style and my own influences. And I've also been challenging myself to have the main reference photo be one that I've taken, because I feel like that makes it a little bit more kind of my own personal voice, because it's pictures that I've seen and places that I've been, which just makes the piece that much more sweet and kind of nostalgic. So that's been my goal for the year, is to just really zone in on what I love to paint and not having it have to be the most insane painting I've ever done before, even though that's what I always want it to be, is like a really awesome, majestic painting that would be amazing in anybody's home or in a gallery. But I think taking the pressure off of every piece is going to allow me to really explore and make magic happen, which I think you'll see in the later piece with the elk. I really love how it turned out, and I had no expectations for it, which is kind of the best feeling ever. When you make something truly magical out of nothing, and that you had never seen before in your head, and then all of a sudden you just make it a reality and make it come to life. So that's one of my favorite things about painting as well. Also, something I really want to challenge myself on this year is creating very enticing, juicy color palettes. I feel like I love bright color, but sometimes I don't do the best telling a color story or creating my own palette within the piece. And I used a lot of pink in these, and I don't think I necessarily planned to use that color as much as I ended up using. It's just like the brightest I own, and I want to like burn your eyes when you stare at it. But I think I need to do more planning this year, and I really want to just bring really nice color palettes to the body of work. So I am going to make a confession as well. I totally feel like I overpainted the horse in this one, and I didn't leave the original brush marks that were very fresh and exciting. I covered a lot of those up in the face of the horse, and I could have totally left it how it was. I think I'm scared that I didn't try hard enough to bring the abstract to life, which sometimes it really works when you push it really far, and sometimes you just overdo it and then you lose some of that freshness, like I said. So I'm also going to be looking for that perfect balance of leaving it be, letting the abstract speak for itself, which again I feel like I really captured in the elk. I barely painted within the silhouette once I did the background, and then I was like, oh, this is it. I'm glad I didn't paint over it. But sometimes I guess it takes overpainting one to learn to not touch the next one. So live and learn. Alright, and here I am finally starting the elk. With this piece, my color story was kind of red and purple, and so I wanted to play off the red and purple of the elk, so I started with a green sky and then had it fade into a purple. I really like unnatural looking skies. I think when you have a green sky or purple sky, I mean purple sometimes happens at night, but I love a different sky. I get bored of blue sometimes, so I also kind of worked around the antlers because I wanted them to be bright and pop, which I guess worked in this piece, but I don't know. Again, it's just challenging myself not to paint back to front, but front to back, which feels like I'm breaking the rules, which I am, but that's where I get to be an artist and I get to choose what I get to do, which is fun. And here I went ahead and started the background. I had this really awesome picture and a great memory from a day in Colorado I spent last summer, hiking my first 14er in the morning. We had to be up really early because, the summit was super exposed and it was a big ridge walk and I didn't want to get hit by lightning. So a lot of thunderstorms happen past 12, so we had to get up super early to begin this hike. And as we were driving in, we saw this huge herd of elk right by this pond that had this like steam and fog coming off of it. And we began our hike, and the first part was right in the trees, and we looked out over the mountains that we were going to soon see pretty clearly from the top of the ridge, but through the trees they were super bright orange from the sunrise, and it was just so beautiful, and I was so happy to be alive, so present. So I really wanted to bring that to this piece and bring this like really pretty orange and green mountainscape to the background, and I think it also complemented the red and purple really nicely. And this is your daily PSA to drink water and moisturize your face, your lips, your skin, You're only young once, gotta enjoy it. And for those artists out there, do you ever just look at a piece when it's a work in progress and go, yep, that's it. I should just stop now. Like, this is it. This is the piece. I can't make it better if I finish it. Sometimes I feel like when I look at it, like right now, like if I had just finished it there and then hung it in a gallery, like boom, it's perfect. But I do not think I have the guts yet to hang a piece with white on it, unless it's like painted white. But even then, I think I'd feel weird about it. Just because I feel like with all that space, I gotta fill it, I gotta paint. But I really, 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 really admire people, specifically abstract artists that like do 3 little blots on the canvas, 3 little brush strokes, and they call it done, and it works, and it's perfect. Or there's huge swaths of empty space and empty white or empty flat shapes of color, and I really want to bring that to my work, and I still feel like I struggle with wanting to fill every inch of the canvas. So I'm getting better at that. Obviously, like, I do not feel like I had any empty space in these pieces, but I, moving forward, want more of that. So, and to give myself a little bit of credit, there was not a lot of space to begin with on these smaller works, so I think I had less room to play with empty space, and I think maybe in a bigger piece I will have more opportunity to leave certain sections blank. I have a piece planned with some bears next and the Bob Marshall Wilderness, which has this really cool feature called the Wall, and it's this like giant rock formation that forms like a spine in the earth. So I think I'm going to play with shapes in the landscape and what information to include and what to leave out. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see if I make good on my word. And then the final piece that I do in this video is a piece with a bobcat in the whites, and I think I tried to bring in a little bit of editing or taking out information that I've put in the painting, which I'll show you later. And where I really feel like I succeeded on this piece was this tree that's overlapping in the foreground and kind of splitting into the composition. And I love that I made it lighter even though it should be darker, and I really love the detail I added to it. I ended up doing these like swishy little light green bits that looked like, the tips of pine needles, and it just really carried that feeling of being within the trees. Which is why I called this piece The Light Between the Trees. Fitting. I also tried to add some little white flowers in the field, which were there in real life, but then when I put them in, they just looked too small and like sad, and I don't know, it looked too realistic, and that's not really what I was going for. I was going for the movement of the color and my brush strokes, so I just edited them out. And then I added this orange swish in the bottom, again, to bring back that like editing aspect, and I wanted to reflect the color of the mountain in the front, in the foreground. And I think I just really wanted to capture that negative space that's not really doing anything but still adds to the piece. But I don't know, I ended up putting some white over it, and that kind of activated it a little bit more, and I liked how that turned out. So
You're my puppy, just my puppy, who's a good baby. Come here, let's show him your tricks. Ready? Okay, lay down, lay down, lay down, lay down. Oh, good girl. Look at her being so good. I once again have the Spirit soundtrack on, and now we're gonna go ahead and do this picture of the whites in the background of this guy. So let's get going.
this piece had a pretty much analogous color scheme until the very end, and I got excited and I wanted to add some like interest color, but so I stayed very much in the green and blue color family and then added some orange at the end. But I really love Franconia Notch, and I wanted to do a piece of New England in here, even though I did mostly California landscapes and Midwestern landscapes. But I think there's something so beautiful about the whites, and they are honestly just as rugged as the Midwest, just in a different way. The weather up there is some of the worst in the world, up in New Hampshire, and if you're not careful, you can still very much encounter bad things. So I don't know, there's something about the wilderness that I think stories of where things have gone wrong just like really draw people in and draw me in, and I just want to be out in the wilderness away from people and experiencing just mountains as far as the eye can see. So that's what I really want to bring into this work.
My camera is no longer dead, so here's what I've done so far while my camera was charging. I might move the path, I might not, who knows? That's the fun of it.
I did in fact move the path, and here's the finished piece.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video and for painting with me if you picked up a brush, or for just watching along and enjoying my inner thoughts as I shared with you for 16 minutes of this video. Thanks for staying along. It was a long one, and I am super excited for what the next month will bring. Hopefully lots of fun new things. I have maybe a couple mural jobs coming up, but we shall see. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.